Happy Wednesday, Striver. It is midweek. It's time for Wednesday wisdom, or your Wednesday focused, to think about your personal development, to recalibrate the week. Here we are, midweek. How's it going? Are you focused? Are you aimed? Are you living with intention and joy and courage? Do you have that performance edge, that vitality, that readiness to do something today? To enjoy the day, to love today, to give gratitude or generosity today. It's Wednesday. You know that we love Wednesdays here in Growth Day. If you're new to the community, every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have somebody going live or doing a live watch party from something we have recorded in Los Angeles on stage, or one of our Growth Day coaches going live. It's always under the Learn section, and you can find it on your main dashboard here too in Growth Day, or under the Learn section, and you can RSVP for today's class, which is always at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hope you will join us. Today, since it's midweek and we're talking about aiming and recalibrating, I'd love to take on a question I got in the community. And yes, I'm still reading your posts in the community. If you're also new and you didn't know, if you're on the app and if you're on your mobile phone, in the upper right hand, you see looks like little people. Well, you click that, that's our whole community. And in there, our community posts their goals, their wins, what they're working on, what they're learning from the Daily Fire or any other class there. And recently someone was asking about, what do you do when you feel aimless? When there's that sense of aimlessness in life. You know, you're like going through the motions, you're doing things, but even if you're on path to doing something successful, you just kind of feel aimlessness. Like, what's happening? It's not necessarily you're lacking motivation. It's just like, am I going in the right direction? I feel like I'm trying all these different things. You know, I keep jumping from one opportunity to another, or one idea to another. I kind of feel like I'm meandering at this stage of my life. I feel like I'm losing a little bit of clarity or purpose, and I don't know why. And I'm not sure what to do about it. Now, of course, when you take on any topic in personal development, I always think about it, there's like a spectrum. You know, there's like a little bit of aimlessness, and then there's like extreme aimlessness. So I don't know where I might be meeting the person who was asking about it, but I thought the conversation could either help you through it or help prevent it. So 4 big ideas today. First, when people say, hey, Brennan, hey, coach, I'm feeling a little aimlessness. What should I do? I always say, please be aware that consumption drowns out your thinking and ambition. Consumption drowns out your thinking and ambition. Very few people think anymore. I know that sounds flippant, but the reality is we know that from research. Most people, if they have any free second, they pick up their phone and they start scrolling through social media. Instead of taking those free seconds between meetings, free seconds between dropping off the kids, free minutes between the workout and going back home, time between meals, time at the end of the day, instead of utilizing time to think, what we do is we utilize our time to consume. And I know some people say, well, no, I'm using it for creativity and to create. I'm like, you're probably not, actually. Because most creators can create most of what they need to do literally in an hour a day. And it's the rest of it where you're just consuming and looky-looing. And so I want you to get the idea that if you ever feel aimless, just ask, how much am I consuming? How much other people's stuff am I feeding into my brain versus giving my brain a break and thinking about life, thinking about the problem, thinking about the family, thinking about the opportunities available to you. I don't think most people are aimless. I think they're not spending enough time thinking of purpose, thinking of how they can be of service, thinking about what their life can be like, how they can change, what they really want. Because see, aimlessness, sure, it happens. But should it be consistent? Should it be a constant in life? I don't think so. I think it can seep into our life over a series of years if we're not incredibly intentional about what we are consuming and by whom. I always go on my little rants about how much time social media and TV is taking from the average person. But when you're looking at 4 hours of consumption time a day, I don't think anyone's aimless. I think they're addicted. Two different things. When people are saying, I feel like I'm a little aimless right now, I'm like, is it aimlessness or is it addiction? Because, see, if you're filling every moment, you're not lacking aim. Your aim is your addiction. You don't have aimlessness. You're aiming right into the addiction of social media consumption, of television consumption, of living a reactive life. And I know, for those who don't know me, I know we have so many new people coming to Growth Day. Sometimes it can sound like I'm mean when I say stuff like that, but I'm your coach. I'm paid to challenge broadly, and I want to lead this community of strivers. We all have ambitions to live an extraordinary quality of life. That's what unites us here in Growth Day. We're willing to confront those addictions that we have. We're willing to confront those challenges and difficulties we have. And even if we're not facing them right now, we know this discussion is valuable just to check in. And so no matter where you're at on the spectrum of feeling aimless anywhere in your life, just know it's normal. And that's why I talk about it so brazenly, is because I don't think it's awkward to talk about. It's life. Sometimes we just get distracted into the world. And as we're distracted in the world, we feel off purpose. So first, I'd check my consumption if I feel aimlessness. Second, I would ask whether or not my ego is preventing me from engaging. Is your ego preventing you from engaging? Meaning fear and fear of what other people think. Is that preventing you from engaging in something you know you do want to do? When I actually talk with people and I coach people and they say they're feeling aimless or lacking direction or lacking clarity or lacking, higher ambitions or goals or purpose, most often they kind of do know what they want to do. And I say, is there anything in the last 3 years that did pique your passion or your interest or you did want to do? They say 3 years. I say, yeah, last 3 years, anytime. Yeah, I kind of want to do this. Or they always say, Brendan, I've thought of doing this. And I say, see, you're not aimless. You're lacking some courage. Two very different things. If you've thought of doing something, but you didn't do it because you were worried what other people would think, the ego is your enemy. The ego is like that consumption or that addiction. The ego is saying, don't try that new thing. They might think you're an idiot. You're embarrassed to be seen starting small, so you don't engage. Often embarrassment leads to disengagement. And so I say, they're not lacking aim. They're just scared to get in the mix. They're scared to get out on the field because other people might make fun of them. They might not like the way you look or the way you run or the way you act or your crazy idea. And so aimlessness is usually a cover for fear of trying. Because when I say, is there anything you have thought about doing? Oh, yeah, I thought about this. Almost everyone else, yeah, I thought about these things. But they discounted the things as crazy because they thought other people would think that they're crazy if they tried it. I got to get you re-engaged. Got to get you over the ego. Got to get you realizing all good things are going to come through courage. There is no certainty in the world. Anyone who's selling you on certainty being super important is, I promise you, selling you something else. Certainty is a bane of human existence. We think, if I have certainty, then I'll act. I'm like, no. Because guess what? You can't be certain in an uncertain world. Sure, you can be confident. That's different. Yes, you can have self-worth. That's different. But we're not going to have certainty in our lives. And anyone who says you're going to is really not thinking philosophically, or I would say that deeply about life. And so realize courage will always be required to step out into uncertainty, to try new things, to get over our childish need for certainty, because certainty is an adolescent's dream, not a mature adult's dream. A mature adult recognizes the difference between chaos and order, but has never confused order with certainty. Understands the world is driven by a lot of change and a lot of chaos. And our job is to find our own courage and character and strength despite the truth of the chaos, despite the truth and the everlasting nature of uncertainty and evolution and the unfolding of the universe, right? Anyone who thinks they have certainty in an unfolding universe is still stuck in the childish dream for certainty. Third, realize sometimes fatigue is killing the fight. If you don't feel the fight, you don't feel the purpose, the drive, the edge, sometimes you're just tired. You know, you've been pushing really hard. I know a lot of high-achieving people who feel aimless, even though they're doing good jobs and good acts of service. They're in the church, or they're volunteering for nonprofit organizations. They're building a good company. They're serving a mission. But they burnt themselves out with too many distractions, too many obligations, too many yeses, too many weak boundaries. They didn't take care of their health. They got tired, or maybe they have a chronic condition. They're tired. And I'm telling you, when you feel tired, don't be shocked that you don't feel the thunder. It's normal. And just as much as sometimes I can have a lot of edge here, it's my job, I want to let you know I've got a lot of empathy too. There's been a lot of times in my life when I had a lot of fatigue. And of course I didn't feel as motivated, as driven, or as disciplined during those times. I also, my eyes were tired, so my vision wasn't as far. I couldn't see the horizon line. I couldn't see where I was going. I was so tired, my head was slumped and my eyes were pointed at my feet instead of out into the distance. So what we have to do is teach ourselves to get in good energy. We have to optimize our energy, our mental, emotional, and certainly our physical energies. When you optimize your physicality, when you optimize your physical health, everything falls back into energy. Your mind comes back on. Your spirit comes back on. Your heart comes back on. It's something that's very, very fundamental. It's a first principle. If you're not feeling well about anything, get well physically. When you are well physically, everything else is easier. It's that old saying of why a man or a woman can have anything, but you take away their health, they only want one thing, and that's our health back. And so if you're on that health struggle, or you're recovering, or you're trying to get healthier, I just want to say good for you. I hope you'll continue that journey, because I want you to have full energy. But what if you have lots of energy, but you feel aimless? Well, maybe you're consuming too much. Maybe fear of trying new things is preventing that courage that would give you that edge. Or, last but not least, number 4, is sometimes we have aimlessness because we're not tapping into the fulfillment of what we are doing. We're doing good. You're doing good. You're raising a family maybe, or building a company. You're trying to take care of the people that you lead or love or serve. You're trying and you're doing the work, but you're not taking time at the end of the day to journal and reflect on the wins often enough that you're sensing fulfillment. See, the reason most people feel unfulfilled is because it's only once in a way they try to feel it. It's once in a while they try to feel it. Oh, am I fulfilled? Oh my gosh, I'm not. Well, that's just like saying, gosh, are my biceps big? No, there's not. Well, I haven't worked them out. I haven't tried. And fulfillment is like that. You have to tap into fulfillment every day. I have to lay my head on my bed at night, on my pillow, and say, thank you, Lord. That was a wonderful and a blessed and fulfilling day. I'm glad I got to try. I'm glad I had breath. I'm glad I got to add some value to some people today. I feel full. Thank you for the opportunities. I feel blessed. Thank you for the opportunities. I feel grateful. Thank you for the opportunities. I sense that I'm moving in a good direction. Thank you for the calling. Thank you for the people around me. I sense that my work is going to make a difference. I sense that the work I'm doing is going to lead to a ripple effect. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let me take that in. Let me breathe that in. Let me feel it in my heart and my body and my soul. Thank you, Lord. Today I could live a little. I could love a little. I could matter a little. I appreciate that. And I just take it all in. I have an emotional filling at the end of each day. Because is it true that some days, my days, are just like anyone else's? Lots of email, lots of Slack, tons of Zoom calls, lots of little activities. If that's all I sense about it, if I'm focused so much on the micro and I'm missing the macro, if I'm just focused on the pebble in the huge lake and I'm unaware that the ripple is going to happen with consistent effort, if I don't recognize that today's efforts are going to lead to a good future, then it feels all for naught, for no reason, no purpose. And I feel like I'm just, going through the motions. But if I can remind myself that all these efforts, all this consistency, all these actions will add up and that they are fulfilling now, that I got to choose them today. I had the opportunity to serve today. Thank you, God. I believe that sense of daily filling, daily fulfilling efforts, if I can feel that, even just a little bit each day, I'm less likely to feel off purpose. If I can add one bonus here for you today, it's make sure you're around role models who push you. Role models who push you and to challenge you. I was a little bit of an aimless kid in my teenage years, and I had some mentors who guided me and pushed me in the right direction. They saw I was wandering around like an idiot, and they told me, hey, kid, stop being an idiot. And I valued that. And I feel that's true even into adulthood. Sometimes if I feel like I'm off path or I'm meandering around, I've got great mentors. I've got you. I'm around strivers, people who want to build, people who want to contribute, people who want to lead. So if you've never come out to one of our live events, come out with us. Get in a room of strivers who are talking ambitiously and joyously and faithfully and gratefully for life. Go to growthday.com/LA and join us at one of our live events. I'd love to have you there. That site will give you the best possible ticket price that we have for members right now, growthday.com/LA. So many of our member tickets have been claimed for the entire year already. It's crazy. So if there's a seat left, you might have to pay for it if you didn't claim it within your first 10 days of being part of a Growth Day member. I mean, they go fast now. growthday.com/LA. We'd love to have you. Get in a room of strivers, highly ambitious people. Sometimes their ambition rubs off. Sometimes their assertiveness gives you more courage. Sometimes their willingness gives you hope. Sometimes their good energy gives you camaraderie. Sometimes being around amazing people makes you feel more amazing, more directed, more on aim. I hope you felt that today in today's Daily Fire. It's Wednesday. We got this whole rest of this week to recalibrate, to re-aim, to go for it, to act as one, to be together, to strive for an extraordinary quality of life. We get to do that because every day is a great day to grow.